Greetings of peace and love. My name is Ram Hotep L. I'll be your host on this particular episode, broadcasting on behalf of the number 13, SignsAstrology.com, for those particular people that are new to this information and new to this channel. So much going on in the world right now, so much to talk about, so little time to talk about it in because time is now speeding up. Things are now happening a lot faster than what they used to, and the way things manifest, they manifest quickly. You have to be on point. You have to be prepared for things in advance. You almost got to be psychic damn near to really make it through this time period. So it's a lot to talk about. I'm going to get directly into this particular episode. On this episode, I want to just kind of briefly, really just, I don't really want to say celebrate because there's really nothing to celebrate, but just really, I guess, it kind of takes a load off my chest that now we're starting to see full disclosure play out on television. And I talked about this last year, and I said that this would happen. And of course, people say you're nuts, whatever. What is this guy talking about? Some people are new to this information, so I'm going to give you a backdrop on first what full disclosure even is. Full disclosure is supposed to be a time when most truthers and people that have been researching for a while know that full disclosure was supposed to be a time when the government would publicly reveal the fact that extraterrestrial life is real. That they admitted that they have secret information going on within the military files and going on, within the black government or the shadow government or with the secret NASA program. They have all these secret black files that they never have revealed, and now they're starting to reveal them. There's a lot of reasons why they never revealed them. A lot of reasons why. A lot of it is political. A lot of it is not based upon fear like most people think. Like a lot of information, information is powerful. And when you reveal certain type of information, depending on how powerful it is, you have to redo or reshape the whole world structure a lot of times. Because if I reveal, say for instance, if I reveal that at one point humans used to fly, which in my book is truth and fact, maybe not in your book, but in my book this was truth and fact. So if I reveal that at one point we used to fly, now if people start to believe that and accept that, now the world is going to change. The economics is going to change. Politics is going to change. Religion is going to change. Because now, if we used to fly, that means, how come that wasn't in the Bible? So even that's going to change. So this is why full disclosure never really took off like that. Because, it's pretty deep when you get... You just watch some of my videos, and especially the ones on aliens. And if you even... Whether you believe it's real or not, if you could just imagine that this stuff was real. Like, imagine if this stuff was real. Like, let's say, okay, in your mind, you don't believe it's real, but let's just say we're in a movie now. Let's just imagine that this stuff was real. You know how much the world would change? Like, if the world really was the way that it used to be in Atlantis, when I talk about that, or if the Anunnaki really came and did the stuff that I talk about in my videos, like, how different world views and school and textbooks and even information on computers. How much information will become invalid, but then how much information will become valid just off of some of the stuff that I talk about in my videos. Well, that's where the world is headed, because I was watching ABC the other day, and I know for sure that I heard the reporter, because I don't really watch ABC a lot, so I don't know who it was exactly, but I know for sure I heard the reporter say that, I believe it was the president actually. The president signed off on some type of a bill or something to come up with more intel and to, not even just that, but to defend the planet from extraterrestrial experiments and involvement. Because scientists are coming up with so much proof and presenting it to politicians and let politicians know, like, it's extraterrestrials are the reason why, say for instance, it's May and it's cold as hell outside in May, or extraterrestrials are the reason why people don't want to get married anymore, because they may be doing experiments. And when a lot of experiments that extraterrestrials do, they happen on what's called the fourth dimensional realm. Now, what is the fourth dimensional realm? The fourth dimensional realm, those people that watch my videos, you already know, but I have to explain it to people that don't. The fourth dimensional realm is essentially a realm that is not tangible, that cannot be touched. However, you can correspond with this world, though, but it's only through your imagination, your intuition, your telepathy, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience. With those particular senses is the only way that you can detect this world. And what scientists are finding out now is that extraterrestrials have been affecting this world through the fourth dimension, and they're really the ones behind a lot of things, like a lot of things that are miraculous that's going on in this time period. It's just a lot going on right now, like, and you read about different things in the news, and just you read about all this miraculous stuff, and it makes you wonder, is it someone behind it, or is it something behind it, and why is the world so different? Like, from even just 4 or 5 years ago, like, the world is totally different. And we know things are always changing, but it's, you notice that things are becoming more sci-fi, but that's becoming more of the reality. The whole sci-fi, what most people thought was just fiction is becoming reality. And reality, what we thought was reality, is now becoming fiction. It's just going to become something that we used to talk about. Like, people used to get married for real. Damn, I didn't know that. Just like we didn't know that humans used to fly. So when full disclosure comes out, it changes it changes the whole paradigm. And that's what's happening now. And it's important that we understand this, because it's going to open up a wormhole, as you can almost say. It's going to open up a can of worms. And when you start talking about full disclosure, now you have to educate people on the shadow government. Now you got to educate people on the secret NASA. See, there's a shadow government out in Colorado. They got a secret NASA that's an international version of NASA that's primarily ran by Russia. And even down in Nicaragua, Russia has a space station that has intel on 97% of the planet. 97% of the planet. And according to my research, they attribute the building of this research center to extraterrestrials that taught them and got them this far. This all came from working with higher influences, mental thought forms that are intelligent and that are divinely guided, which is very important, because certain extraterrestrials are what's called divinely guided. When I say divinely guided, I'm not talking about in a religious sense. Divinely guided means that their vision, they can see perfectly and clearly for, say, 1,000 years down the road, meaning that their vision is so clear that they can go and dictate to you how things will go year for year for up to 1,000 years. That's what you call divinely guided, because a person or entity that's divinely guided they can see so far ahead. It's just like in chess. A good chess player has what? Good memory. And a good chess player remembers games, remembers how games went, and remembers moves. So a good chess player can look at the board where it is now, and then imagine if they move this piece there, they can imagine what their other partner will do, and they can keep doing that, saying, if I move here, he'll move there. If I move there, he'll move there. And they can do that. And over a period of time, they can remember the whole game now before it even played out. That's what you call divinely guided. And there's extraterrestrials that have vision like that. So you talking about beings that know where humans are going to end up 300 years from now. Of course, if the world stays on a particular course, because there's certain beings that are dimensional beings, and not only are they divinely guided, but they can see multiple different. See, they know that we live in a quantum reality. So there's multiple different things that can happen. There's like, say for instance, you go through one door, there may be 4 other doors that you have to choose from. And then if you go through one of those 4 doors, then there may be 2 other doors you choose from. Once you go to those 4 doors, then once you go into those 2 doors, there may be 1 door, and then there may be an exit through the attic or the ceiling. So these beings basically are good at calculating multiple different realities or different experiences predicated upon if things go this way or if they go that way. So you talking about full disclosure now, you're saying that humans now have the opportunity to communicate with intelligence like that. So what they were saying on television is that the Intel and the Alphabet Boys, I guess if you want to call them that, now have to sign off or now have to basically step up their intel and learn about extraterrestrial life and extraterrestrial involvement. They now have to step up their research. And that's what it basically, they're putting aside more money is what it really is. They're about to put more money into teaching agents about extraterrestrials and just basically teaching the world through the media and all of that and just revealing more information about extraterrestrials in general. And this is important because obviously they realize that they can't predict the weather anymore. It's just like the other day. They said it was going to rain 5 days straight and it only rained. Out of that 5 days straight, it only rained 2 hours. Keep in mind the forecast said 5 days straight, starting from the next day. I looked at the forecast one day, it was sunny outside, so I'm thinking the next day I'm going to need my umbrella, it's going to rain. 5 days went by, it never rained. Except for 2 hours. It rained like 2 hours once throughout that whole time period. So we can't predict the weather anymore. Our technology isn't working the way it used to. We need to redo things. We come up with different apps and different forms of technology, and then people hack them and they take them over, and all of this stuff going on. All of this stuff going on in the world. And when you calculate full disclosure and you marry that into the world situation, scientists know that they have to change the paradigm. They have to change the education that's being put out there. So I'm glad that it's happening, but now I know I got to tell you about the secret government. So that's what I want to do on this last piece of this episode. So now you have, since full disclosure has took place, now you must know about the secret government, which is out in Colorado. And you must know that the actors that you see on television and on the world stage are not the particular people that are in power for real. The secret government is the real government. When you talk about it's going to be an election and the Tea Party said this or that person said that, that's cool. We can talk about that on a mundane level and that sounds all good. But you know what? There's a secret government. All of that stuff is an act. Acting out what's really going down in the secret government and what's really going on in secret. So what you see in the visible world or in the world of television, the world of the lights, is really an act or a play that's giving you clues about what's really going on in secret with the secret shadow government that's been running this country for ever since World War II. They've been building up out there. And that's why when you go out there, you see more UFOs. You see more crafts when you go out west in Colorado, when you go into South America. This is because people that are into this type of information, they sought out those places because this is where the extraterrestrials would always come, and this is where they always would land, and this is where they left their presence. This is where they left a lot of the sacred sites. We have sacred sites out in the east. What happened in the east coast of the United States of America is that the east coast, what happened out east is basically we were flooded. We had so many people moving in, so much going on out east. Majority of the country lives out east. Majority of the useful land or the land that we live on, the big metropolises, are out east or in the Midwest. So a lot of UFOs and a lot of aliens, they don't want to come out east anymore. So you're not going to see a lot of crafts out on in the East Coast and things like that. So on this part of the world, I noticed that when I talk to people in consultations and things like that, I noticed that people from the East, a lot of times they don't get a chance to see what you guys see out in the West. So shout out to LA, Colorado, Washington, Seattle, Washington. So what we see in the West, because I've been out there several times, and even in Mexico and even down in Peru and Ecuador and all that, what we see down there is going to be different than what people see out east because there's different type of beings and different observations. So this is why the secret government is out there. See, what you got to realize about government, the highest up agents in government, like even the CIA and all of that, the highest up CIA agent is somebody that fully believes in extraterrestrials. See, you got to get into like knowing about Project Looking Glass. What is Project Looking Glass? This is basically a technology that they have where the world leaders will go look into a glass, and this glass will show them the future for the next 20 years. This is normal stuff that world leaders are into. Of course, they don't tell people about this, but even President Clinton talked about aliens the other day. I think it was like back in April. He went so far as to say that he's worried about the world finding out about aliens before they get a chance to prepare the world for a conversation like that. He said some other stuff too, but you might can Google it, go look for it, go research it. Maybe somebody can leave it in the comments. Bill Clinton definitely was one of the individuals that spoke on full disclosure, and this is because the presidents, when they get initiated to that thing, that order there, they getting briefed on aliens. They telling them about the real deal. They learning the president, who's an actor, who has a double. Usually, there's usually like say for instance, there's probably two Bill Clintons. The Bill Clinton that's on the island chilling, sipping lemonade, and then the Bill Clinton that's probably the double that's really the president. You couldn't take this type of stress that they experience being a president. You people that are you know, like you don't have a chip in you, or you're not biogenetically engineered at all. So you don't really understand a lot of this. So that's why a lot of this stuff is far out, because most people that resonate with this type of stuff are people high up in Intel, and most of those people high up in Intel are part machine, if not all machine. Most people that are high up in government are part machine, if not all machine. They're robots. Some of them have what would be called it's a name that I'm looking for. Some of them have parts in them that will be what you would call organic, or what you would call, that's not the word I'm looking for. They have machine parts in them that look like human parts. So say for instance, they'll have a heart in them. Looks just like a human heart. You would not be able to tell the difference, but it's really a machine. Or it's really a piece of technology, a piece of equipment. So there's a lot of beings out there right now that have all this type of stuff in them. This equipment in them, these chips and stuff like that in them. So all of this type of stuff is important when you talk about full disclosure. These are the type of things that you're gonna have to have an open mind to, because you got the president on television signing off on bills, Bill Clinton, ex-president, on there talking about aliens and full disclosure. Obviously, they're letting you know that it's something on this planet already. We're already sharing this planet with an intelligence. And there's actually multiple intelligences, and some of these intelligences are benevolent to us and they like us, and other parts of these intelligences don't like us. Very key. So they want to protect. That's why they teaching all the high up intel agents about all this information, because they're going to be the ones to protect the ignorant, or the goyim, what they would call you, the ignorant, or the masses, or the asses of the people. You're going to be relying on some high up intel agent to protect you, or to at least reveal to you what's really going on the planet, because you're going to need that type of information, or else people are going to lose their mind. They're going to see and experience things that you will lose your mind, because this planet is changing right before our eyes. It's a different planet than what it was back in 2012. The rules are different. You can't get away with the same stuff you got away with 2-3 years ago even. So you start talking about full disclosure. I mean, you got Project Looking Glass. You got to be open to the fact that the world is a stage. Government is nothing but a bunch of actors. You can't get all emotional about when you see things happen on television and getting all mad, because most of that stuff is maybe real, it may be based in truth, but a lot of it is based on this world stage orchestrated play that we live in. So then once you get past that, and you know that, okay, everything that's going on television is definitely not real. Like, it's definitely staged. A lot of it is fixed. Now you got to research and find out the real deal. So what's really going on? And the only way to really research and find out the real deal, beloved, to really find out, and this is what everybody must do if you want to be serious about what I do on my channel, the deeper aspects of it, about when I talk about practicing magic, when I talk about the alien stuff. See, this is the more deeper part of the channel. Like, this is the part where some people say man, you 730, man, you nuts, you low. Nah, but then some people embrace this though. It's a lot of people having these experiences, so it's serious though. But if you really want to be serious about that, you got to practice magic. And you have to do it perpetually, every day. There's things you must do. Practicing magic, you have to become a practitioner of magic. Notice I said practicing magic. Because you can't do one little love spell and say, oh, I'm a magician, or I tried magic, it didn't work. A good magician always considers themselves in practice, just like a good doctor. You notice they say, I practice medicine, because they know that everything about medicine is still being revealed. It's not all 100%. And you think about how much money doctors get paid. And I respect that. I mean, keep paying the doctors, but I'm saying you think about how much money they get paid, and they're just practicing, and you paying them all that money. They practicing. So when I say I'm practicing magic, don't laugh at me. They practicing their craft. They're magicians in their own right. Doctors are. Basketball players are. Musicians are. Dancers are. You're musicians in your own right. Secretaries are. Nurses are. Housewives are. Prostitutes are. You're magicians in your own right. And a doctor's a magician in his own right. However, he's still practicing. He had to, guess what? In order for him to get his craft in order, he had to continue to practice every day. He had to spend so many hours working in a hospital. Then once he did that, his residency, then he moves on to work up under another doctor. And once he works up under another doctor, then he moves up and becomes a doctor. He runs, and then he gets doctors up under him. You notice everything happens in degrees. So this is how it is. If you really are serious about understanding this information and really, because I get so many crazy emails that you guys aren't for real. You just shoot me emails like, man, I'm not into this stuff no more. This stuff is crazy. I started researching this stuff and it opened my mind up, and now I'm confused. You're confused because you didn't do what I'm about to talk about now, the other steps or the other things that you must do to really be serious about this. And like I said, knowing that you're practicing magic is one thing, meaning that at least once a week you're doing something magical. You're working on a ritual, you're doing something, a new moon ritual, you're trying to cleanse, to get prepared for a ritual. You're doing something in the area of magic. The next, you got to meditate. You got to meditate. You have to be able, if you want to know what's going on out there in this world, in the world of the occult and in the world of the secret world where they talk about these aliens are out there, and you're like, how come I don't see them and I don't see shit? It's because you're not in tune. You're not connected. You could be there could be a society or group of people right now living in your city with you that control the whole world, and you would never know them if it's done, if they're controlling the world and the way they manipulate the world is done correctly. You would never know who they were. So you have to learn, you have to practice, and you have to get into meditation, because you have to be able to visualize the world around you that you've never seen with these two eyes. And the only way you can see the world around you is through meditation. So you've never seen it because you've never meditated. So this is why you've never seen it. And then once you see, meditation is deep, because it's not just when you're in the meditation that you see the most. It's when you come out of the meditation. Because when you come out of the meditation, things are going to get magical then, boy. It's not like a good 15, 20-minute meditation. You start to notice things play out in your life for weeks on out correctly just because you meditated for 20 minutes. So you got to meditate. You got to be able to see what's going on, beloved, in this world. In this unseen, mystical world that can only be sensed through higher perception. And then lastly, there's other things you must do, but I'm just going to name 3. Practice the magic, meditate. This is all to prepare for full disclosure of what's coming. And I'm going to tell you what's going on a metaphysical level, and then I'll close the video down. The last thing you want to do, beloved, after you do all of that, you've meditated, you've cleansed yourself, of course. If you've meditated, you've already cleansed yourself. Hopefully you've eaten healthy. I should have said that. That's a part of it too. You practicing magic. That is a part of practicing magic because a good magician will spend 4 or 5 months disciplining their body anyway. So now that you've done all that, you got to do the final initiation, which is you got to go out in nature. You got to go off into the woods because you're not going to be able to encounter these beings around other human beings because they don't like being around. They like to deal with people one on one. So you want to see an alien, you can't come with your boys off of a mushroom trip. Maybe y'all will see them together. I don't know.